Did you miss the first day of LCS? Well, I got you covered. Here's a full recap and a full rundown of all of the teams in LCS. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Miss Chim Chim and I am your LCS news source, baby. So a lot of the teams' rosters have changed. So we're gonna go over that, and we're also gonna go over the first day of LCS, which was an absolute banger. The games were insane. It was never a dull moment. Let's get into it. So the first game of the day was Cloud9 versus Golden Guardians. Now, let's introduce the roster first. To be honest, the roster stayed the same. These were the top two teams of the spring split. So they said, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'll just run through real quick. In the top lane, we have Fudge. In jungle, we have Blabber. In the mid lane, we have Immortals. For ADC is Berserker, and for support is Sven. For Golden Guardians, it's Licorice in the top lane, and then we have River in the jungle. Mid lane is going to be Gory. ADC is Stixay, and then Huhi for the support. Now, y'all, Milio made his debut in LCS for the first time ever on Cloud9's team. So Sven was running around as Milio. Now, River was permanently in Blabber's jungle early on. It was looking very Golden Guardians-y win in the early moments. Immortals also died to Ornn ulti for first blood, but it just wasn't enough to stop the Berserker going berserk on the Zeri. Now, the Zeris in LCS Pro Play have been going Triforce. I don't know if that's what y'all are running nowadays, but y'all, when I tell you this man was doing damage, popping, slipping, sliding, gliding all across the rift, do not play with him. And with that, Cloud9 secured their first win of the split. Now, next up is Team Liquid versus TSM. Team Liquid is another team that opted to keep their spring roster for their summer roster. In the top lane, we have Summit. Jungle is going to be Pyoshik. Mid lane is going to be Harry, ADC is Yun, and support is Core JJ. Now, TSM did make some changes to their roster. In the top lane, who we have seen for one game since the spring split is Hanser. In the jungle, we have Boogie. And in the mid lane for right now is going to be Insanity, subbing in for Ruby. But Ruby is the main starter for TSM. And then for ADC, we have Wild Turtle, and for support is Chime. Now, y'all, this game was wild. It was jungle domination early game by Pyoshik, who actually ended up getting first blood by doing this like crazy loop-de-loop escaping vision from Boogie thing in Baron Pit. It was insane. Now, Chime also got a 4-man knockup on Rakan, but y'all, it led to his entire team's death, basically. I just don't think his team was there to follow up yet. And so it was good thought, it was a good play in his head. It was a good play in his head. A lot of the casters were talking about Team Liquid's team fighting just not being there during the spring split, but y'all, baby, they were in go mode today. It looked like their synergy has definitely stepped up. Now, that does not go to say that they weren't trying to throw a little bit, because they were losing team fights, they were dying with Baron, and they were giving over shutdowns. But Harry's little Ari was looking cute AF yesterday. Oh my gosh, y'all, he was dancing, prancing, dashing all over the rift. And y'all, immediately after I made that comment on stream, Summit said, well, I can do that too. And then he went in, basically secured Baron for his team, was popping off. It was absolutely ridiculous. They were going insane. So Team Liquid secured their first win over TSM for the summer split. Now, the third game of the day was Immortals versus Dignitas. Now, Immortals did a lot of changes to their roster, as well as Dignitas. So the lineup for Immortals is Solo in the top lane. Now, it used to be Revenge, but y'all gonna see where Revenge went. We still have Kenvi as the jungler, but Lulu is still sitting pretty as the starting mid. ADC is still tactical, and instead of Fleshy as support, we now have Treats. Now, for Dignitas, their top laner is no longer our Mutt. It's going to be Rich. The jungler is still Santorin. Jensen is still the mid laner. And we did see a little bit of Tomo in the spring split, but he is now the starting ADC for Dignitas. And Dignitas no longer has Biofrost or Ignar. Instead, we now have Diamond. Now, y'all, to be honest, it was a snooze fest in terms of the champions that were being picked, but Dignitas decided to wake us up with a little Jinx, a little Lulu, and a little Rek'Sai. Now, Immortals did end up winning this game with their very cookie cutter team. They had Ari mid, Sejuani jungle, Sion top, Aphelios ADC, and Melio support. Now, the fourth game of the day, y'all, holy moly, it was Evil Geniuses versus NRG. Now, first we got to go over the teams because y'all know that whole little EG roster announcement thing that they did. Lord have mercy, but I think it worked. Let me not spoil the game. So in the top lane, as I previously mentioned, Revenge was on Immortals, but baby, he is now sitting pretty on Evil Geniuses in the top lane. For jungle during the spring split was Inspired, but now we have Armao. Jojo is still putting it down in the mid lane. FBI used to be on Evil Geniuses. I'll tell y'all where he is in a minute, but Unforgiven is representing as the ADC for Evil Geniuses now. And then Vulcan used to be the support for Evil Geniuses. I'll tell you where he went in a moment, but now it's Ayla. Now, I'm not trying to bring up all beef, but you gonna see. Okay, now for the NRG roster. In the top lane is Dokla. For jungle is Contracts. Mid lane is going to be Palafox, and ADC is going to be FBI. So yes, FBI's first game of the season is playing against his old team, Evil Geniuses. Not the same players, maybe just Jojo, but the old team. And then for support, it's going to be Ignar. Now, y'all, when I tell y'all Jojo was, this man was doing the two-step all over the Rift. He really was. So Jojo smacked the frick out of Palafox around 8 minutes. I don't even know what happened. I think it was a flash with an auto with the head, but it was disrespectful, but I support it. He was just smurfing. There were so many plays. There was so much wombo combo from the Evil Geniuses side. It was absolutely disgusting. And to top it all off, the little cherry on top, baby, this was a perfect game. When I tell you objectives, when I tell you no deaths, when I say straight up running it down and killing the enemy, that is all that they did. It was absolutely beautiful. So Evil Geniuses made their mark, made their stamp, and they're letting y'all know that they are here to play, baby, and took home their first win for the summer split. Last game of the day was FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. So in the top lane for FlyQuest, we have Impact. For jungle is Spica. Mid lane is Vikla. ADC is Prince, and then the only change to the FlyQuest roster, because Ayla's over there now on Evil Geniuses, is Vulcan. Yes, Vulcan and Ayla did a little swoop and swapped. Now for the 100 Thieves roster, because y'all know that they made some changes, we have Someday for the top lane, and y'all, I'm about to tell you something about Someday. Closer for the jungle, Nuke Duck, the coach, was actually standing in for Quid, who is the starter mid laner. And then we have Double Lift as ADC and our fave Busio as support. Now, y'all, this game was something else. That team during the spring split that y'all called 100 Thieves is there no more. It is a wow. It looks like a new team. They are absolutely outstanding. Now, I will say at the start of this game, Spica and Impact invaded at Closer's chickens, and they thought they were doing a little something. Now, Spica did steal the chicken, but he ended up paying for it by losing not only his red, but his Gromp, and then dying and giving first blood to Someday. Now, let me tell you what Someday did with that. He took that gold lead and he ran. This man was doing the moonwalk, the crip walk, the two-step, the Dougie, all across this Rift. Oh my gosh. When I tell you this man was an unkillable demon, it was absolutely insane. They were sending so many people top to try and tower dive this man, but you know what he said? You shall not pass. And that man was still running them down afterwards. It didn't make any sense. It really didn't. I advise you guys to start banning Renekton in y'all's games, because if these little gold players try to start acting like they Someday, something gonna go wrong. Honestly, there's no way anybody can replicate what this man was doing. But 100 Thieves team fights were looking solid. They were looking so cute. They were really synergizing, playing together, playing off of each other, and it just looked amazing. So 100 Thieves actually ended up, now it wasn't a perfect game because they didn't get the first Rift Herald, I don't believe, but they did not have any deaths. It was 17-0 in the favor of 100 Thieves. So 100 Thieves secured their first win over FlyQuest for the summer Summer Split. Here are the current standings for the first day for Summer Split. And while we see the people who won their first game and the people who lost their first game, I kind of want to give my 2 cents on who I think will truly dominate this Summer Split and who might not. As far as power rankings, I think Cloud9 will be a reigning champ this season, but I think EG will be a close second. A lot of people are predicting FlyQuest to be one of the harder teams to beat this season, but I think 100 Thieves is actually going to top them. After that, I see a FlyQuest. And then after FlyQuest, I see Golden Guardians. And the new team that has kind of stolen my heart, I'm putting Team Liquid Honda. After that will be TSM, NRG, IMT, and then Dignitas. Let me know down in the comments below who you think will be the champion of Summer Split and what team are you rooting for, because I'm rooting for Team Liquid Honda, but you know what, I'm gonna be optimistic, they gonna make it. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the little recap for LCS day 1. Now we do have a lot of super weeks, so there's gonna be 6 weeks of 3 recaps. That's a lot. But if you want somebody to watch LCS with, you can come over to twitch.tv/MissChumChum at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. Pacific Time and watch it with me. And then if you want to still come watch the recap, you can. But thank you so much for watching. Love you, bye.